Hey everybody, Nick Miller from MiniQuadClub.com. I'm here today to start part one of my review of the B245 Black Edition Quad Kit from Birdseye.nu, and let's get right into it. So we open up the box and we find the custom power distribution board, has the Birdseye.nu URL across the bottom. Flip it over, we have pads for the battery, we have pads for your ESCs, and we have two pads for the optical system to power your video and everything else. All in all, a very nice, clean way to set up your power distribution system. Nice and sturdy, has decent thickness to it, and helps to simplify a wiring process on a smaller setup like this. Again, it's a 245mm frame motor to motor, so it's nice to have the wiring organized for you. Let's dig into this next part. So let's look at these bottom plates. So the bottom plate is a 1.5mm plate, nice and thick and sturdy, what you'd expect from a 1.5mm plate. In the back you'll see some nice oversized slots, which are nice because as we start putting better motors on these things and go on the 4S, we need bigger batteries, they're heavier, and there's more thrust involved, so we want to make sure our batteries are held in nice and tight. And some frames just cut really small slots for the LiPo strap, and most of the straps that I like to use are a little bit thicker, and so it's really hard to use some of the frames with the thicker straps, and you're stuck using maybe a strap that you feels a little bit less adequate just because the frame won't support a thicker strap. So well done on the bigger slots here for the battery strap. As we move up front, we see two slots for the FPV cam mount, which is also carbon fiber. The nice thing about the front of this frame is it has a chin, as I like to call it. So when you mount your FPV cam, this chin is going to stick out and hopefully be the first thing you hit in a front-on collision. I'm thinking that once I put the FPV cam plate in and some rubber grommets, that it'll push my plate cam probably back to here. So hopefully the end of that cam will and just shy of the chin, so we'll see how that works out. Regardless, it's nice to have some protection on the front, and from a bottom plate perspective, that really about covers it. Some nice slots cut to save some weight. Extremely light plate. Let's look at this top plate. There's some nice features to this I want to talk about. It's, as you can see by the design, it's a short design, so the top plate goes back like 3/4 of the way, or 2/3 of the way, I guess, maybe in this case. So it's more designed similarly to like a QAV250, where you'll be able to have access to the battery in the back. So that's kind of nice. So we saw that with the Epic 2. There was also a nice space to be able to get the battery in and out of it because the top plate was cut short. So that's cool. Just some things to talk about. SMA extension mount right here in the rear. I really like that. You know how I feel about the SMA extensions. If you're flying FPV and you're not using one, go do yourself a favor, spend the $5 and buy one now. You will save so many issues with your VTXs. I see guys post to the group constantly about how to fix their VTXs when they bust their SMA connectors, and it's real simple. $5 of preparation and using a frame that supports an SMA extension will solve your problem. So by all means, use this to your advantage. It's here for a reason. You can see the Birdseye logo and the B name cut out of the carbon fiber, so that's a kind of a cool look. I like it. Again, I mentioned the slots, so we're on the bottom frame that were wide enough to manage a larger strap. We have nice big slots on the top plate as well to mount, the VTX underneath with some straps and things like that. So again, nice to have enough gap here to actually use a bigger strap. As we move forward, you can see there's two little latches that are cut out of the frame to hold an elastic strap to hold down your Mobius cam on the front of this. So I'm really kind of excited to see how those work. We kind of saw my problems with the Mobius as far as ejecting it into the middle of a field, so I'd like to take a look at these and see how they function out in the real world. And again, 1.5mm, really nice cuts, really nice look and feel and finish to it. I can round out with the camera plate, which obviously fits here and here. Boom. Nice short profile. And then here are some arm braces that go between the underneath for where the power distribution board is, and we'll see that in the build video where those actually go. And last but certainly not least, and I know a lot of people are waiting to see these because we've been talking about these every time it's come up, so let me move everything out of the way and give them the space they deserve. So here are the arms. Boom. And right away you can see why this kit was called the B. They look like insect arms. They have a really cool design to them. I've been in talks with some people who've been flying this frame pretty hard and fast for a while, and none of them have ever claimed or reported a broken arm problem. So that's a good thing. You know, I've had some frames that I've tested in the past that I have broken arm on, and that has no indication, you know, of it being a bad design flaw or anything like that. How I feel about arms is that if you're going to crash your quad hard and you're going to break a piece on your quad, you really want it to be an arm. You know, it's the least expensive part of your quad, and it's also you know, the part where you're going to damage the fewest things. Your arm, if you do break an arm, you're going to break an arm. Your motor and things are still going to be attached with some wiring. You might have your ESC, but all the expensive electronics in the middle are all going to be protected. So again, I've been talking to some folks who've been really impressed with the strength of these arms, even with these cutouts and this design. So I'm looking forward to giving them a torture test and seeing if they live up to the hype. They're 3mm thick and they're super sturdy. There's no indication when you hold these things in your hand that there's any parts actually missing out of here. And from an industrial design standpoint, it seems like they've been designed in such a way that the impact would transfer, still transfer the different parts of the carbon fiber, and would take the impact. So again, really anxious to check these out. I think they look great, and it really gives the B a unique look. Again, they're 3mm carbon fiber thick. So let's get this whole kit in front of you. And this weighs in, the dry frame weighs in at 102 grams, and I think that's pretty light for a 245 frame. Most 220 frames are right around that, if not a little bit heavier. So I think that this is a very light 245, so it should really scream. I'm gonna outfit it with some 3S because I want to use it as a proximity machine in the woods. And to me, personally, you know, 4S is amazing for big, huge areas that you want to scream around in, but for in the woods, to blast through the trees and such, I think 3S on a tight little frame is the way to go. So it's nice to have a couple different options. Real quick before I forget, here's the parts kit, which is nice. It comes in these nice little bags that are sealed. There are 6 aluminum standoffs in black, and there's 4 little aluminum standoffs in black to hold the power distribution board. Comes with a complete parts kit, all metal, and just a piece of note, since the arms are thicker, it actually comes with motor screws that are already, you know, the proper length to work with most motors and deal with the thickness of the 3mm arms. So very nice to have all that together. And this is kind of a shot of the total kit back to front. So I really like the simplicity. There's some nice little features, you know, from the SMA slot or the SMA hole to the slots for the Mobius. There's some really good things going on here. So I have a feeling that once everything's assembled and up and running, that all these good little features are going to end up making a really great quad frame. So again, this is the Bird's Eye B245 quad kit, black edition. Check it out, and that's about it for part 1. Part 2 will be coming up where I'll cover the build, so stick around. Thank you guys so much for all your support.